Let's see who's sponsoring tonight's Hazmat Guys Roundtable. Hazmat 101 Consultants. Hazmat 101 Consultants and their instructors can provide quality consulting and virtual or in-person hazardous materials training for your agency. Owner and lead instructor Bob Cascignano is also available for lecturing at your fire or hazmat conference and has in fact done many speaking engagements across the country. Visit their site at www.hazmatconsultants.com or email Bob Cascignano at bob@hazmat101consultants.com. For over 20 years, K&R Plaques have had the pleasure of helping clients choose awards for the people they want to honor. Their state-of-the-art equipment allows clients to design, customize, and personalize the awards they choose for that special someone. With one of the largest selections of plaques, awards, trophies, and clothing apparel, they can deliver quality products to satisfy any customer needs. No order is too big or too small. Visit their website at www.knrplaques.com or email at sales@knrplaques.com. Responder Training. RTE is the leading company in delivering propane training along with emergency response equipment. Responder Training has many propane flaring kits, water injection kits, accessories, and replacement parts available. They also sell the only commercially available 1-inch propane flare kit, appropriately named the Dragon Slayer, because size does matter. Contact our good friend, owner instructor Ron Huffman for more information. You can reach him at 765-524-4848. You can email Ron at respondertraining.rdh.gmail.com or peruse his website at respondertraining.com. Northeast Hazmat has your supplies for leaks. Easy vac pumps, stingers, hoses, rupture seals, and now carrying fire blankets and hazmat apparel. If you'd like to sponsor the show and help keep live hazmat conversations coming in the future and help send at least one lucky participant to a national level hazmat conference, send an email to bob@thehazmatguys.com and he'll send you the information. Thanks a lot. Now on with the show.
Hello, everybody. Hopefully all is doing well. I see a whole bunch of people in the group in the chat on the side. Welcome.
Hello.
Hello. Getting all the widgets all spun up. I'm here with my cohort, the Bobs. It's just the Bobs. It's
the Bob Show.
Where was that? Office Space? The Bobs.
Yeah, something like that.
You got Jay-Z. He's on assignment in Las Vegas, and Mike is on assignment with his kids. So he got caught on
dreams.
It was a long story, but he's not going to make it back in time. So I get to hang out with my pal.
Right. Yeah,
that's
buddy.
all right.
It's good because we're both so busy anymore. We don't get to. Yeah. So there we go. Got to start to show off right.
Oh, this is the new cup. You see this? It's Hazmat Student Tiers.
Oh,
it's good, right?
Where might somebody be able to get one of those?
You can get. You know what? You can get it on the website, but I haven't put them up on the website yet. I'm going to put them up. I just kind of did this as a joke, but it seems to be pretty popular.
I think you're going to sell out probably pretty quickly.
So
I know I will probably get one just to tease the students.
Ooh. All right.
Ooh.
So where are you going to be this times coming up?
God, we got so much going on. We're doing a bunch of local classes. We've got a few trips planned abroad that we're not going to mention just yet because we're finalizing. But conference-wise, we're going to be doing, I think our next one is going to be the Florida Hazmat Symposium.
I think we'll be there.
Yep. So that'll be the next one. Let's see. Then what? Then there's Ontario. Then there's Oklahoma. Then there's, gosh, we were just going through a list. I mean, 10 we picked up off the top of our head. I think you and I are going to most, if not all, hopefully.
Yeah.
And so busy. Busy,
Yeah,
busy, busy.
I'm flying to Continuing Challenge tomorrow. If anybody's on the West Coast, I will see you at Continuing Challenge. I'm getting on an dark 30 flight and going to be there by lunchtime your time. So if you see me, say hi.
Buy him a
But
drink.
anyway, yeah, exactly. Anyway, hazmat. Let's talk some hazmat. What do you had a topic?
Yes. So we there was a reel that I put up on Hazmat 101 Consultants Facebook page, and it's just a short little thing about my cohort in crime talking about air monitoring and starting down low, and then mid-level, and then high, and whatever. And at one point, he got down on his knee.
Hold on a second. What? Explain the show a little bit more. A reel. What are you talking about?
Oh, so a reel is like a quick, I don't know, 15, 20 seconds maybe of a video. Yeah. You guys have some reels up, I've noticed recently as well. And yeah.
Okay.
You be careful what you say when you're being recorded, because you never know where it might end up.
That's true.
But yeah, so it's a quick little thing that it basically is for, I don't know, maybe a specific short snippet, let's say, of a lesson that might be good enough. That's a pretty weak description, but that's all.
I like that. I like it.
So anyway, so at this one particular time when we're talking about air monitoring and starting down low to the ground, and most people are holding the meter down low, and low is the length of their arm, instead of hitting it all the way to the ground like you should,
right?
And then the mid-level, and then up high. And in one particular point during this little video, my cohort in crime was down on one knee, and he wasn't proposing to me. I'm already married, so and there was a comment about you got to get off your knee. You got to get off your knee. Don't get on your knee, whatever. And I'm like, you know what? So that brings up a good point, that for a millennia, everybody's talked about stay off your knee when you're in a level A suit. You should never get on your knee in hazmat calls. You should never, so it got me thinking about not only that big myth, but some of the other training that we don't make it as appropriate, let's say. For instance, the level A suit and the overpacking of a metal drum into a poly drum in a level A suit. Like, why would you be in a level A suit with a metal drum? Like, there's nothing that should really cause that. So just some of the things that when we teach, maybe we don't teach thoroughly enough, or if we're going to do something, we should explain, okay, listen, this is just repetition to be in a suit. Personally, practice like you play. But let's start with the knee thing, because I think you got some information there.
All right. So the knee thing is, if you would ask, is it a truth, or is it a myth, or it's kind of like, right? It started out in truth. Like, and again, I'm sure there's going to be out there somebody that knows it better than me, but it used to be a true thing. It used to be, back in the beginning of hazmat, that the majority of the instructors out there that were learning the ropes, because it was level A all day, all the way. Everything was level A's. There was level A runs all the time. You did this for a long time. I did this for a long time. I will tell you personally, I was in hazmat response for over 20, and I did 2 level A jobs that required level A's, not training. So either the runs got like much less dangerous, or we got better at our jobs. To be honest, we got better.
Oh, I think so. I was only in 3.
Right. And I'll tell you, and we're from rather large metropolitan fire departments, and we go to a lot of runs. So, like, the point is that back in the day, and this is one of those, telefireman thing where you start the conversation here, and we have these paradigms. And these paradigms start as There's a great video, and I don't have it queued up, and I should, but I'll explain it as best I can. There's 5 monkeys that are put into a room with a ladder, and there's a hose at the top, and at the top also is bananas. So one monkey runs at the ladder, and he gets hit with the cold water. Actually, all of them get hit with the cold water, and they beat the shit out of the monkey that ran up to the ladder. So now every time somebody runs at the ladder, they beat the shit out of the monkey because they don't want to get cold water on them. So now they start replacing the monkeys. Right. And they're taking one. And now the new monkey comes in from a new group. He's never gotten hit with water. He runs over to the ladder and all the monkeys start beating the shit out of him. And so eventually all the monkeys are replaced and no monkey dare go up that ladder because they'll get their asses handed to them. And when you ask them, why don't you go up the ladders? They say, because that's always the way it's been done.
Yep.
Like they were never exposed to the problem. Now I understand that there's lessons paid in blood, et cetera, et cetera. I understand that. However, I think a lot of it's just complete laziness with reading the actual regulations and taking. Joe has been teaching here for 30 years. Well, Joe is teaching what he learned 30 years ago. He is not current.
Right. Well said.
Yeah.
Well said.
So the knee thing is not a thing. In fact, I'll ask our good friend Ben if he can just bring up the paper where it comes from.
Ta-da.
That is the newest, latest, greatest version of 1990, which is the consolidated 1991, 92, 94, all in one shot. And so in section... I don't remember. Hold on a second. 8.2.2.5.1.8.1 and eighth piece down in the bottom left. It says crawl in place for 1 minute, rotate orientation 90 degrees, to windstream every 15 seconds, meaning that part of the test criteria is to literally get on your knees and crawl in place and then rotate on your knees a couple of times. So the knee pads are designed for that test. That's the criteria. Perfect. So when we say, don't get on your knees, this is where the kind of comes in. Right. Is that I say, okay, it's kind of true because if you have a knucklehead that's like, well, that means I could do it anytime I want. No. If you start kneeling down in broken glass and rusty tacks and stupid things, you're going to have a problem. You're an idiot.
Right.
At the same time,
don't put your knee in the liquid.
Right. Like, but at the same time, like we used to carry around those gardening kneeling pads, those like foamy rubber ones.
Oh, yeah.
That's what we used. And we put that down and you work like gentlemen. Because now you're working smart. It's a lot easier on your knees. Who the hell wants to kneel on a concrete floor in the first place? So if you don't have one of those kneeling pads, go and grab a bag of Speedy Dry or something. But think. That's the point. Read your stuff and think.
Right. Yeah, we're not talking about crawling through like you're searching for a victim in a house fire. You know, I mean, we're not doing a primary search of a hazmat job.
Yeah, it's,
you know,
I don't, and this is because when you were saying the thing that we're taught about this stupid stuff, it's like taping seams. This is a much more recent one.
Yes.
You'll still see guys that retired only 5 years ago, and they're still telling you, well, you got to tape up the seams. That is prohibited in this document. Like,
right.
The ensemble is not ready for service if you need tape to close the seams. Now, it doesn't say you cannot use tape. It says you can't use tape to close the ensemble and make it protective clothing. It means I want my radio to stick here, slap a piece of tape. I want my outer glove to stay on, slap a piece of tape. But that does not mean it makes or breaks the chemical protective clothing rating.
Right.
This is honestly, it's dangerous shit.
Yep, that's a good point too, because we have people that they're taping everything up, and honestly, if you've trying to make something vapor tight with tape, you're in the wrong suit.
You're in the wrong suit. This this goes back to my whole thing of like, and we just did an episode today, and it was on picking your level A or versus B, and it was a great compatibility kind of thing where if you listen to the show, it's kind of be like, oh, this is an easy one. And then we throw this one speed, and you're like, oh shit, like, but it's real. And one of the things is like, when you're in class, a lot of times you're being fed the commodity, the instructor's kind of leading you to that path, which is very poor instructing. Never, ever have out only the suit they'll need for the evolution. Have them all out and make them figure out which one they need, right? And so, like, that's lazy. That's lazy instructing. And so, one of the things is like, only 5 years ago, tape was a thing. But if you're an instructor and you're out there telling people things, get your hands, shoot the lock off your wallet and buy some NFPA guns, because if you're quoting scripture, you better know your stuff, man, because if a kid goes into class and starts putting it on a Googler, within 30 seconds, you're going to be like smoked out. You're out.
Yep, exactly. Well, and that goes to also, we're mentioning about as instructors, we've done so many things for the repetition of it. You got to get more time in a level A suit. Go overpack this metal drum into this poly drum. Well, where does that even make sense? Why would you be in a level A suit in a metal closed head drum? Like, what are we teaching them? Are we teaching them what products should be in there in the proper way, or are we just trying to get suit time?
That's another very interesting point is, and I will bet, let's see, how much money do I got laying around here? A couple million. I'm going to bet a couple $1 million that everybody that's listening or everybody that's here or will be listening has done the leak monster. Right? The piping that cannot be sealed. And they go into the level A suits and they go into the pipe monster and they're playing with their clamps and stuff like that. And it's adorable and they're getting wet and it's hot and it's fun, right? The point of it is that you're in a level A and the intent of the drill is to get suit time. I understand the intent. That's awesome.
Right.
But you, the operator, are now under the pretense that I can go into a situation and it could be like the scene in Flashdance where I'm getting douched with everything. There's water and everything going in, gasoline. It's like Zoolander, right? And that's cool because we did that in training. That is the absolute opposite of what you should be doing. Like you should be saying to yourself, I'm like a cat and I don't like to get wet. I don't want to get anything on me. And so we're almost conditioning our new people to say, that's cool. That is not cool. That is not what I want. We used to have, if you're a cop and you're listening, earmuffs. We the plexiglass shields that the cops use for like psychos and stuff like that, and they'll put it up and we acquired one. Just it fell off the truck or whatever. And we use that regularly on operations because if there's a spritz or a spray coming at me and I can go in a lower level of PPE with that thing coming up and I come around my arm and I go, boop. Now only this has to be deconned.
Dude, that's a great little nugget.
All the time. We did that all the time. So if it's a liquid that's spraying, that was one of our maneuvers in order to bring the level of PP down. Because if you're trying to, if you're coming back to, I have to be in a level A, you're not hazmating hard enough.
Good point.
Right. So what most people do is they do their tech ref or your research or resource or whatever the hell you call it, and therefore you get the information on what your PPE is. That is absolutely incorrect. Your actual way of doing it is tech ref or whatever the hell you call it, plus your mission, plus your environmental controls, equals your
Mhm.
PP. So if I am saying, oh, it's level A, then I will screw shit up in order to get back to shorts and flip flops. And I'm saying shorts and flip flops as a funny thing, but if it's because it's inside, it's a big deal. Well, then make it inside outside.
Right.
Like literally
Open it up.
remove the place.
Yeah.
Ben is asking, where does encapsulated B fit in? That's an awesome question. The criteria for encapsulated B versus hooded B is where physically is the leak. If it's a nipples line above, it's encapsulated. Nipple line below, it is hooded. Done.
Perfect.
It's,
Man, look at that.
Seriously, like we did this whole. You're gonna want to listen to this episode. I'm not doing this to plug the episode. It's really weird that the topic tonight coincidentally was so freaking in alignment with what we just did 5 hours ago, and I have to edit it tonight, so it'll be out this Friday.
Perfect.
Yeah, there's a lot more to it, and then we added one more twist in the show that really starts to think like, okay, I'm a technician. I love that. When you're a technician, you're an operator. Their job is to know the tools, how to get suited up, operate downrange. It's like being a scuba diver. Like, you know how to work all the shit. You can go take some pictures. You're cool down 60 feet. But the guys that are training and the guys that are calling, they're like, oh, you need this suit, you need this mixture, that's specialist. And when you get to the specialist level, you're starting to make the calls. So I don't need guys in specialist level. I don't need you to prove to me that you can work the freaking screwdriver. You should have been there already. You now need to think this stuff out, argue with me.
And the problem with that, though, I think is most of the people around the country, they don't have specialist level like you guys did or other departments. Like when you get hazmat tech, that's it. And they think they've reached the top rung. And
even if not, like if you're a specialist, no, dude, if you're a specialist, the difference for me is for a specialist with a specialist to a technician specialist is that a specialist, I should be able to send any specialist downrange and say, do task X, and they understand how to do it. Everything from put on the suits, put on an SCBA, getting the tools, going down there, turning the nuts and bolts, coming out safely, going through decon, blah, 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 blah. Right?
Yeah.
Specs say, okay, here's a situation. What suit am I using? What decon am I using? And be able to articulate that into a detailed method, right? So when I go out to, let's say, another state and I do classes for them, I call the specialist level stuff the week of why. It's because anything you say, I'm going to say, well, why? And if you're like, because that's makes sense, I'm going to be like, you go stand outside with your hat on. Like, that's not an answer. The answer is you should be able to argue with me. And we did this all the time in my old firehouse, is that we would do a drill, and it was obviously set up. It was a tech ref, a resource research, and I set it up to be for a specific suit. So I give Bob Kosh, formaldehyde, whatever. And you come back and you go, well, based upon all this stuff, it's level A. And I go, I think it's bunker and SCBA. Now you say, well, Bobby's saying it's level bunker and SCBA, so he's got to be right. I'm like, no, don't take that footing with me. Argue it out.
Explain it, right.
But the thing is, I will argue my point well. And you'll think, as the new guy, he's right. And I'll be like, I'm wrong, but I'm arguing well. That's the point.
Nice.
Like, there is no wrong or right. It's what we all think. That's right. That might be a topic for another show. That's a little heavy.
That was deep, but it good.
That was a little psychological warfare kind of shit. Maybe we should leave that on the side for another show, because that can go really. Yeah, that's a little deep.
We can go off the rails on that one.
Many forget that the specialist level is not a one-time class, 24 hours annually for each specialty. That's a good point. Specialist level, and like Bob said, specialist level is a lot of times not following the letter of the law. Like in California, if you are present in a class that's 2 weeks long, you are a specialist. You could phone it in. New York City fire, if you're a specialist, you have about 5,000 hours over technician.
Yeah.
With hundreds of competencies and prove outs. It's incredibly hard to get specialists in New York City. Like there's just for reference, there's 13,000 of us. There's 14 specialists.
Wow. That's crazy. Yeah, we didn't even have specialist level in the city of Orlando. It's your technician.
Right.
And that's it. And then through other classes that you've gone above that, basic, what I call the minimum standards of hazmat, and your seniority on the rig and your time and experience, you're knighted a specialist, so to speak, but we have no actual title of that.
So we do, and anybody that's listening or is going to be listening, you're more than. I will send you our book and everything. I will tell you that there is 6. I think there's only 6. It's 6 national classes. There's Highway and Rail in Pueblo. There's Anniston, Alabama for live agent. There's Mercury, Nevada for radiological. There's Socorro for bomb. Did I say Mercury, Nevada for radiation? I did say that. And in the National Fire Academy for chemistry 2-week class, which I heard. I just had a meeting today with the director of National Fire Academy, and he is asking us to come down and check it out. And supposedly it's pretty badass. They redid the entire thing. So,
wow.
Yeah. So our book is that plus 110 sign-offs that takes the average guy 18 months to do. I will send it all to you. But
that's strong work.
It's pretty brutal, and we did a podcast on exactly how to do it. If you're
Perfect.
a team that wants to do it, it's the roadmap on how to do it. So used to be Dugway. It did. Yep. Dugway was one of the ones Captain Chaos was asking.
Dugway was bio. I went to that one.
It was bio, but that's like a very. I don't think it's consistent. I think they do it every couple of years, and so we couldn't use it as a criteria to be a specialist because it wasn't fair.
Yeah, they shut it down for a while because we did the 4: the Nevada, New Mexico, Dugway, and Anniston.
Right, those are the big 4. We're required to go to 6, which is cool, but it takes you about 18 months to get specialists in New York City, and that's if you're crushing it.
But that's good because you get dedicated people that want to be there, though.
You do. Listen, when I came over, and I tell this story once in a while, if you listen to the podcast, you probably heard the story, is that when I came over, I already had a degree. So I came over and I'm doing these presentations. And when you do a presentation, you're like, all right, I'm doing radiation theory. And you sit in front of 4 specialists and you pitch this. You're not allowed a whiteboard, PowerPoint, notes, nothing. Stand and do it at the top of your head. And it's got to be impressive. And then after you're done, they just open up the guns and like, they just fire at you, right? And you have to answer all the questions. And if you answer them all, you get the sign off. If not, you come back and these are the things you screwed up. And I screwed up one. I messed up and I went to the senior dude and I didn't go to the senior dude. The senior dude kind of came to me. He's like, yeah, it's kind of tough. I'm like, it's kind of bullshit. I'm like, listen, like, I'm not cutting my teeth here. I already know my stuff. Like, what is it? He says, when we all go downrange and the chief of department or the commissioner or the mayor is standing in front of you and you're the only guy standing back because you're doing the notes or the research or whatever, he goes, and that spotlight is on you and it's a hot spotlight. He goes, you're going to need to convert what we're doing and articulate it to a Nimrod that's a politician.
True.
He goes, that's why we're stressing you to make sure you can do it under the hottest of lights. And I'm like, fair enough. Good enough. Now I'm going.
Dude, that's a good point.
I was good right there.
Good point.
I want the book. Ken, I will send you the book. Just send me an email if you don't mind. I will send it to everybody. I don't care. It's all free range for that kind of stuff. All ships rise to the tide. It's not an impressive book. It doesn't give you the playbook, but I will say with that podcast plus the book, you'll understand how it's done. I just don't have enough time now to do it. So, yeah, check that out.
What else you got going on?
So,
because you're just retired, sitting around the house drinking and eating bonbons, I'm sure.
That's it. I'm just painting these walls behind me, these brick walls. I'm stripping them down, getting that up over that way. The neon lights all tweaked up, and
nice.
We went to New Bedford, Massachusetts, on what we lovingly called the Battery Destroyers Club. It's going to be coming out. We brought together a whole bunch of industry people, Telops, Fleer, Teledyne, Cell Block, Red Wave, Blackline. All these people came in. The mayor's office, it was a big thing. And we blew up batteries all day.
That's awesome.
It was, everybody had their own altruistic reason to be there. Like Fleer wanted to test, their GCMS. And Blackline wanted to test their new meters that got coming on market that do hydrogen, hydrofluoric acid, and all that stuff. And Teleops was using these ridiculous thermal imaging cameras that have like 10,000 frames a second, like with 8K resolution. It was crazy. So we have some data that I'm trying to parse together that is insane. We were shooting pin nails into batteries, and you can see it like doing.
Oh, no shit.
And then you see the battery starting to disintegrate, and the whole explosion happens over like 5 seconds. So you can really see what's happening. We had 2 videographers with 12 cameras, drones. I mean, we had everything, and it was
awesome.
Totally badass. It is shot in a Mythbusters type thing, where me and Mike are going to be Jamie and what the hell is the other guy's name? Whatever, the guy with the big mustache, the walrus mustache.
Yeah.
That's funny. Maybe I'll get a big walrus mustache.
Walrus. Or the walrus.
That's so stupid.
That's great.
Yeah, so we blew up a ton of batteries, and the whole thing was raw data. I don't want the goal was everybody had their own stuff, but me and Mike was to give the responders raw, unadulterated data so that you can draw your own conclusions on crap that's going on out there. My team uses sand. Okay, let's do it in sand. My team uses cell block. Okay, let's use cell block. Not enough cell block, the right amount of cell block, too much cell block underwater. How about my team uses a closed drum with nothing? Let's do it. So we blew up tons of stuff.
That's awesome. That's going to be great when you guys get it out.
Thank you, Captain Chaos, Adam and Jamie Heineman. So yeah, I accepted the detail to cut up the video. I'm an idiot. It is 8 hours times almost 20 cameras.
Oof. Oof. You're gonna have to get one of those the dumb waiters to have your food and drinks lowered down in the basement for you. She's totally gonna have to lower everything down to you.
And we're putting this video out on YouTube with all of the supporting video totally free, completely. You can take it, put it in your PowerPoints, no copyright, nothing. It's all for the good of the people.
Amen. Good for you.
So, yep, it was a day well done, and I think a lot of people are going to get a lot of stuff out of it. As soon as I could possibly release it, I will. I'm going to say it's probably 2 to 3 weeks off before I can realistically say the data's out there. Go.
Awesome.
And it's all yours.
And it will be shared everywhere.
Everywhere, including all the Blackline data they got off their meters, all the GCMS, FTIR, all of the thermal imaging. Everything is open. That was the deal for all the manufacturers, that they had to say, yes, it's all free.
Yeah, because the first responders, we need to know. We want to know.
You gotta. That's what we're
too much guesswork going on out there.
So maybe next month, if I can get it done quick enough, maybe we'll do like a kind of a rap show, and we'll put it up on here. And I could probably give a little more depth into the thing. Because the video is going to be the video. It's going to be like an episode, but there's no 2A. If we're here and we're playing the video, we can almost do like a Mystery Science Theater 3000 kind of thing. Ooh. Where the comments, we can comment and we can stop the...
Ooh, I like good. That. That's a good one.
Yeah, that's
a good one. All right. Excellent.
So that's it.
All right.
Thank you for all... 2 of you. No, I'm joking. It's probably my mother. Matt, the Hazmat Mythbusters. Yeah, thanks. I hope I don't look that bad, do I? All right, whatever. You guys suck.
Stay safe.
All right, guys. We'll see you next Tuesday.